Long before hip-hop had a name and before rap ever claimed the spotlight, Millie Jackson was already breaking rules that didn't want to be broken. She didn't whisper her truth or hide it inside pretty melodies. She stopped the music, stared the audience down, and spoke. Raw, fearless, unfiltered. Her words landed in rhythm, cutting through the room like confession and confrontation all at once. People laughed, gasped, and leaned closer because she was saying what no one else dared to say out loud. While the industry played it safe, Millie Jackson turned honesty into a weapon and changed live music forever. To understand how radical that was, you have to go back to rural Georgia, to a tiny community near Thompson, where Mildred Jackson was born into hardship long before fame ever found her. Her early life was shaped by loss, instability, and survival. Music entered her world not as a dream, but as a constant presence, playing in the background of real life. That grounding in reality would later become the backbone of everything she did on stage. When she spoke, audiences recognized truth because she had lived it. Her path into music wasn't planned. It happened in Harlem, at a time when clubs like Small's Paradise and the Palm Cafe were full of raw, unfiltered talent. On a dare, she stepped onto a stage and discovered something unexpected. She could command a room without trying to be polite or safe. She didn't soften her edges, she leaned into them. That instinct would define her career. As Millie Jackson began recording professionally in the early 1970s, something unusual emerged. While most soul singers relied purely on melody, she filled her records with extended spoken passages. These weren't casual asides, they were structured narratives delivered with timing, rhythm, and emotional precision. Music historians would later describe this style as proto-rap, not because it sounded like modern hip-hop, but because it shared its DNA. Her speech followed beats, her words moved in rhythm, her performances blended storytelling, humor, anger, and vulnerability in ways that predated hip-hop's rise by years. What made her work even more powerful was the music beneath those words. During her time with Spring Records, Millie Jackson recorded with musicians connected to the legendary Muscle Shoals studio in Alabama. This was the same musical ecosystem that shaped icons like Aretha Franklin and Wilson Pickett. The sound was disciplined, soulful, and deeply rooted. Against that polished musical backdrop, Millie Jackson's free-flowing spoken monologues felt even more daring. The contrast was intentional. The music held everything together, while her voice pushed boundaries. Songs like It Hurts So Good and her powerful reinterpretation of If Loving You Is Wrong, I Don't Want to Be Right became defining moments in Millie Jackson's career because they broke free from the limits of traditional soul music. These were not songs designed to be neatly packaged and forgotten. On stage, they became living performances that evolved night after night. A 3-minute recording could turn into a 20-minute emotional journey as Millie Jackson blended music with storytelling, humor, anger, and vulnerability. She spoke directly to the audience, paused for reactions, and adjusted her delivery in real time. The result was something closer to theater than a concert. Audiences didn't simply listen, they responded, laughed, shouted, and became active participants in the experience. As her fame grew, so did the controversy surrounding her work. Millie Jackson's explicit language and unapologetic honesty made radio programmers uneasy. Many stations hesitated to play her records, and some shut her out entirely. Her album covers, often bold and provocative, regularly landed on worst cover lists, sparking criticism and debate. Yet none of this happened by accident. Jackson understood that shock could be a powerful tool when used with purpose. She wasn't trying to blend in or earn universal approval. In an industry full of polished, carefully managed performers, she chose memorability over comfort. Whether audiences loved her or argued about her, they remembered her. By the late 1970s, radio airplay began to fade and record sales slowed. For many artists, that would have marked the beginning of a decline.
For Millie Jackson, it became a strategic shift. While radio turned away, her live performances became even more in demand. She toured relentlessly, filling venues across the United States, Europe, and beyond. Fans didn't come just to hear familiar songs. They came to witness her presence, her storytelling, and the unpredictable energy she brought to the stage. A Millie Jackson show wasn't about perfection. It was about truth, connection, and an experience that couldn't be duplicated anywhere else. Instead of surrendering control, Millie Jackson took it. At a time when most artists relied heavily on managers and labels, she began handling her own business affairs. She booked her own tours, hired her own band, and negotiated deals herself. Eventually, she launched her own label, Weird Records, ensuring she maintained ownership over her work. Her influence didn't stop with her own recordings. Over the decades, her work continued to travel through music culture. Her songs were sampled, reworked, and rediscovered by new generations of artists. Even listeners who didn't recognize her name heard her voice echoed in modern tracks. That longevity wasn't an accident. Her storytelling style, emotional directness, and rhythmic delivery made her work adaptable long after trends changed. Outside the spotlight, Millie Jackson made another decision that would define her long-term success. She invested in land. While many artists of her era lost fortunes to bad contracts or fast living, she took a quieter path. Every time she signed a deal, she bought property. That philosophy gave her freedom. By the time she slowed her touring schedule, she no longer needed to work unless she wanted to. In later years, Millie Jackson settled into a more selective lifestyle in Atlanta, choosing privacy over spectacle. Her home became a sanctuary, filled with memories from a 6-decade career. She continued performing occasionally, only when the conditions felt right. She spent time with her family, including her daughter, Kesha Jackson, who built her own respected career as a background vocalist for artists like Erykah Badu, Angie Stone, and Faith Evans. Her legacy was formally recognized when she appeared in the TV One documentary Unsung, the story of Mildred Millie Jackson, and later when she was inducted into the Rhythm and Blues Music Hall of Fame in Clarksdale, Mississippi. These honors confirmed what fans had always known. Millie Jackson wasn't just controversial, she was essential. Millie Jackson didn't wait for permission, applause, or approval. She moved forward anyway and built freedom on her own terms. Her voice became a blueprint, not just a legacy. If her story moved you, like, share, and subscribe for more untold music legends. Thanks for watching.